Hi, I'm Paul Furlong, Creative Director at Opus Media and Director Consultant for BNI. Imagine for a minute you're networking and you approach a group of people you've never met before, hoping to start a relationship and potentially derive business from them or from their contacts. You say hello and introduce yourself, and then one of them asks you a very standard question in any networking situation. What do you do? So what's your answer? This is a brilliant opportunity to make a great first impression, but I think most of us blow it and leave money on the table. You've heard it said that you never get a second chance to make a good first impression, and that once made, it's nearly impossible to reverse or undo. The fact is that when you first meet someone, they make a conclusion about you in approximately 4 seconds, and their conclusions are set in stone within about 30. So how can you make that all-important first impression count to set the tone for the relationship that follows and the potential business that can result from it? My advice would be to tell them a story. It doesn't have to be War and Peace, and it shouldn't be, but stories spark interest, keep people engaged, and help them to understand. Stories allow the conscious mind to relax, but at the same time, the pattern-perceiving unconscious mind can make the match and use the story to help them connect with you. Too often in business, we try and connect with people on a rational level, but this isn't enough to inspire and influence them to take action for your cause. Let me break it down into the 3 ways people tend to answer the question and give you some examples. The first answer that most people give is the standard answer that you will have heard and may well have said many times. What do you do? I'm an accountant. Whether or not people actually understand what you do, they think they know what you do, and so they switch off. They've met loads of accountants who have all given the same answer. They very rarely follow it up with a question, and if they do, it's often out of pity rather than genuine curiosity. And I'm picking on accountants here, but it's the same if your answer is solicitor, web developer, florist, or magician. People have a good idea of what you do, and no connection is made. So what's the next thing that you can do to grab their attention and create some curiosity in them? You could reply, I help people save money on their taxes, or I take the hassle away from people when it comes to their business finances. That's certainly a better answer than the first response of, I'm an accountant, and it shows them that you can solve a problem that many businesses face. It also creates a little bit of curiosity, but barely. If you wish to answer like this, try and make your answer a little more memorable. Try and inject some humour to make your great first impression. A friend of mine introduces himself as a crime-fighting spaceman. It gets a laugh every time and always invites the question, well, what do you mean by that? This gives him the opportunity to talk a little bit about his architectural practice, where he redesigns buildings that are regularly the victim of break-ins. It's a great introduction and is sure to be remembered. But it's not enough to make that lasting connection on a subconscious level. So, here's the third way, and the best way to answer the question, what do you do? Incorporate a story. A friend of mine, whenever he is asked this question, tells this story. Growing up, both of his parents own their own businesses and were never in control of their finances. This meant that every January there would be panic in his house and many nasty surprises that resulted in a lot of unpleasantness, arguments, and cancelled plans. Because of this, he's grown up hating surprises and has dedicated his life to ensuring that other business owners never get nasty surprises when it comes to their finances. So what does he do? He's an accountant. Now imagine you're networking and you've heard the answer, I'm an accountant, 7 or 8 times, and then you hear this story. Which accountant are you going to pass your work to? That's right, the one that hates surprises. He's made a connection with you, and you will also find it easy to refer him to friends and business associates. Notice that step 2 invites a question to which the answer is step 1, and that step 3 includes step 2 and step 1. It's important to include all 3 steps, but it must be done in this order to grab the attention, generate curiosity, keep them hooked, and make the connection. You can guarantee that my friend who hates surprises is asked all sorts of questions after he's given his answer that allow him to generate more interest and improve his chances of getting business from the networking. So in conclusion, In order to make a great and lasting impression at a networking event and improve your chances of generating business for yourself, create a connection with those you meet by telling them a story, and don't give them the standard answer to the question, what do you do? If you like what you've heard here and want to learn how to use storytelling to inspire and influence your audience to take action, then please subscribe to my podcast, Rule the World, The Art and Power of Storytelling, available from the iTunes Store. It's also worth remembering what Plato, the Greek philosopher, once said, that those that tell the stories rule the world. This is Paul Furlong, Creative Director at Opus Media. Thanks for watching.